A growing sense of vertigo spread across his mind as he slowly opened his eyes. At first, everything seemed familiar and serene, but as he took in his surroundings, he realized he was in a musty library. The light was an ugly yellow-orange that you would find in old buildings. It permeated everything. It was bright enough to see clearly by, but not harsh. Though the air was dry and musty, there was a hint of apple? Questions raced through his mind. How did I end up here? Where is here? For what felt like hours, he wandered the labyrinthian shelves, searching for a door or a sign to provide some semblance of direction. Each aisle seemed different, with shelves of varying sizes and colors, and every book was uniquely bound. After a lifetime, he tried backtracking, but he could not find where he started. Unease filled his mind. He turned one way, the unease grew. He turned another, and it eased. At a complete loss, he picked up a book at random and leafed through the pages. The combinations of Cyrillic and katakana script disoriented him further. Well, that was less than helpful, he muttered, returning the book to the shelf. Then, his gaze fell upon a book. It was not quite glowing, but it was beckoning him, resting on a table in the center of an aisle, begging to be picked up. The title, elegantly scripted, read, "A Chronicle of the Grand Library of Bable." With curiosity piqued, he opened the book and found its pages initially empty. But as he continued to peruse, words appeared, chronicling his adventure from the moment he had awakened in this library. With an arched eyebrow, he closed the book, turned it over, inspected it. When he opened it back up, he found a dedication. It was in a strange, foreign language, but he could somehow still read it.
Know ye that thou hast entered upon the library infinite. This is your map, your guide and anchor. Lose it at your own risk.
He looked around, and now he was in a gallery, light, a comfortable white that one might find in modern buildings. Through a double glass door was a parapet overlooking an endless Escher-type library. It was mind-bending, yet almost welcoming at the same time. He could gaze upon this splendor forever, but the desire for answers overwhelmed him. The gallery was the size of a small studio. Unlike the shelves of the library outside, not all these shelves had books. There were sections of walls that looked like they should be doors but weren't. The only real doors were the double glass panels leading to the parapet and the large wooden one on the opposite wall. With chairs and reading nooks, this room held no more answers than the endless shelves. He carefully examined every detail, the one object that seemed willing to provide answer, the book. It was old, ancient even, but still perfectly intact, as if fresh off the presses. In the spine of this book he found a crystal. It was long and double-ended spike that fits comfortably in the palm. The last words on the pages now read in golden script.
He has found the Tesseract shard, and now he can navigate the library and always happen upon his gallery.
I guess this is important. A rose gold chain was now attached to the middle of the shard, and he put it around his neck like a necklace, almost absently. His stomach growled. One last look around revealed a grand meal laid out upon the grand table before him. So much for not eating in the library. He ate his fill and packed a few rolls and meat sticks for later, and approached the exit to the small gallery. As he passed through, the food disappeared. I guess there is no eating in the library. He ventured into the library, occasionally checking books. Most of the titles and contents were garbled nonsense. This latest book was bound more like a magazine, It was an array of fashion, clothing, accessories. He touched one portrait absently, and in a flash of light, he was now dressed as the figure had been, glowing flowing robes of lightweight, breathable silk and a shoulder bag, and the figure was wearing his former clothes, a simple t-shirt and jeans. With a bemused grimace, he put the magazine book in his bag, followed by the chronicle, and the two tomes merged. At least my wardrobe won't be boring. A chill filled the air, and the light in distance flickered, an ominous message that spurred him onward. With a sudden force, he was knocked to the stack of books. Pages and bindings fell all around him, and a figure, vaguely humanoid, approached.
"You cannot stop the storm, Guardian,"
the creature hissed.
"I shall end you before your adventure begins. Laniant shall reward me."
The thing attacked, knocking down shelves. He avoided the blows as best he could, but he was unable to counter. Thrown into a dead end, he panted, trying to back up and find an exit. Then, an unbound leaf of parchment floated into his lap. Upon it was an intricately drawn bastard sword. Somehow knowing how to defeat this creature now, he reached out, now holding the sword. He attacked this creature, landing a few critical blows, and finally, it retreated. Hunched over, he panted deeply, regaining his breath. When he looked, the sword was gone. With a grimace of confusion, he reached into his bag and took out the chronicle. On the inside of the cover was a 4-section grid, naming weapons, tools, apparel, and locations, showed what he had collected so far. The sword was in weapons, the tesseract, bag and chronicle in tools, his new and old clothes were in apparel, and his small gallery for locations. He was apparently on a mission to save the library? With a heavy sigh, he put the tome back in his bag and started anew. Again, he walked for hours, and again, he could not find where he started. The gallery had disappeared. Silently cursing, he reached up and grasped the tesseract absently. A blinding flash of light in his periphery caught his eye. He turned, and the door to the gallery was now at his side. He entered, and it was indeed his gallery. Entering this familiar space, he marveled at the book's power to create and manipulate reality within the library. With each journey through its pages, he uncovered new mysteries and revelations, deepening his understanding of the library's boundless secrets. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our amazing tale. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe for more great adventures from the Polyverse.